The Louisiana Restaurant Association presents the We Live to Eat podcast. It is said in Louisiana that a great deal of our culture revolves around food. The We Live to Eat podcast will explore Louisiana's restaurant industry one episode at a time. Laissez les bon temps rouler.
I am your host, Quentin Williams, and today with me is a very special guest. She is the Director of Operations at Rufino's Restaurant in Baton Rouge, which includes Rufino's in Baton Rouge, as well as Rufino's on the River, and Rufino's de la Ronde catering venue. But before that, she was the Area Director of Training and Development for Outback Steakhouse, Vice President of DBMC Restaurants, Director of Training for Grub Burger Bar, and she had led the effort for the French Settlement ProStart restaurant takeover for the Education Foundation for the LRA. She also happens to be an LRA board member and Baton Rouge chapter board member. Please help me and welcome Megan Klock.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I am great, thank you. Very good. That's a lot.
Good to have you here. You're welcome. Now, you've had at least over 30 years of restaurant experience, and I'm sure many more to come, but I wanted to start this off by kind of asking you where your love for the restaurant industry started. What was the initial thing that got you into the restaurant business?
Kind of a funny story. I will tell you, honestly, I didn't want to be in the restaurant business. I grew up in Lafayette, Louisiana. My mom had a clothing store that was very successful, ladies' clothing store. I loved her business. I didn't want to own the clothing store, but I really wanted to be in that venue, in the rag business. I grew up in the restaurant business with my dad. He was with Self-Service Restaurant Group, which was Chart House Steakhouse, Luther's, Burger King, all of that.
Right.
And at 13 years old, my dad had an ice cream store in Baton Rouge, 2 in Baton Rouge, 1 in Lafayette. And I said to my dad, I want to go to work. And he laughed at me and said, at 13, you really can't go to work. But he did. He let me work part-time. And I would drive with him to Baton Rouge once or twice a week. And I'd work in this. He dropped me off at this ice cream store on Sherwood Forest Boulevard. And I made half of minimum wage. And minimum wage at the time was $3.25 an hour. And I just loved it. And about 3 weeks in, or 2 weeks, whatever, it was summer, my dad sat down with the manager about giving employees raises. And they went through everyone. And then the manager finally said, Bill, we need to talk about your daughter, Megan. And he said, what's there to talk? Is there a problem? He's like, she said, no, she's one of the best employees. She does everything. She's great with customers. She loves this. She loves that, blah, blah. You should be ashamed of yourself that you're only paying her half minimum wage. And he said, well, if you want to give her a raise, you can, but it'll just be minimum wage. And really, as silly as that sounds, it's the largest raise I've ever gotten in my career, right? A 50% increase. But I think it really started there. Again, I was 13. I worked for him and my mom off and on. And then in college, I started waiting on tables and bartending at Chili's. Mm-hmm. And I just loved it, and the truth of the matter is, when I graduated from college, all of my friends, when we graduated, no one could find jobs, and they were all going back to school, and I was not going back to school. So I started working at Outback, and it was like a pit stop along the way. And, I think God has a bigger plan for us, and sometimes we realize, and this business is just in my blood. And that was the start of my professional career in the restaurant business, working with Outback, which was an amazing 17 and a half years and an amazing education that I can't put a dollar amount towards that education that I got from Outback. It was pretty impressive.
When you had gone into college, were you hoping to get a degree to help you further a larger career in the restaurant industry? What were you going for initially?
Initially, I was in a marketing. I was in a marketing degree. I was at LSU. I was in a terrible car accident, and And so that kind of changed my path as far as I went home and finished at USL. And at the time back then, classes didn't transfer very well. So I went to USL and literally went through every department and said, I've had 3 years of college. What degree? And I mean, I couldn't even get a general studies degree. I could, let me clarify that. My classes didn't transfer. So I went to the business school and they said, look, we'll take every single one of your hours. You don't have any electives because we'll fill all the elective spots, but you can get a business administration degree. And then you can focus on some things there with like different avenues. So I got a degree in business administration, a focus on management and marketing, and a little bit of finance. Again, graduated, didn't know what I was going to do. I learned a lot, but really my true education of the restaurant business was actually jumping in the field, working for Outback.
What was your first role in Outback when you started?
I was hired as a manager, but I wasn't a front of the house manager or back of the house manager. I was the administrator. I did all the book work with the intent. The intention was always for me to become a service tech, which was a new role that Outback had started. And but you had to have so many restaurants before they had that position.
Oh, okay.
And the service tech was somebody that just went around to all the restaurants in the market. And I had Louisiana and eventually Louisiana and Arkansas. And I worked for Bruce Attinger, who is a love of the LRA. And we focused on training, development, upholding standards, and just carrying the culture of Outback around. So I started off as administrator, and the plan was get in, do all the book work, understand the business side. And when you could, you need to learn all aspects of every hourly position in the restaurant and every manager position. So it was fantastic. And then so I was a service tech, and I was also a coordinator for Trudy Cooper. She's one of the founders of the company, and I got to open up restaurants domestically, internationally, which is where the education really began. Yeah, it was not began. That's when you're dealing with different cultures, even just in the United States, and dealing with different people and having to learn how to work with 19 employees that you've never worked before, opening up a restaurant that's $3.5 million. You have to learn about people quickly and put them in the right seats to be the most productive. And Trudy Cooper's just a badass, so it was amazing.
What were some of the places internationally that you helped open up?
I was in Cancun, Canada, Guam. I know Guam's not really international, but we considered it an international opening. Brazil. I did 2 in Cancun, 2 in Canada, Guam, Brazil, Australia. I think those are my international openings. I feel like I'm missing one, but so. And
what was the decision for you to move on from Outback and start where you are now at Ruffino's? How long has it been since you've been at Ruffino's?
I've been with Ruffino's for a little over 7 years. I left Outback to go to DVMC Restaurant Groups. I was recruited from Outback to go there. And you don't know what you don't know until you're out of your comfort zone and go to a new job and you realize, holy crap, I know a lot more than I realized. But it was a great opportunity for me, growth opportunity there with DVMC Restaurant Groups for a little while. And then Bruce Attinger, who I mentioned before, who I worked for at Outback, asked me to be his partner with Grub Burger Bar. And so it was a bunch of Outback people that formed this company. And so I was with Grub for a few years until I got the phone call from Ruffin Rodrigue. And he asked if I wanted to come on board. And actually my interview with Ruffin was 2 days. It was the most bizarre interview I've ever had. The first day we talked for 2.5 hours about nothing. Like we didn't talk about work, but we connected on a cultural level, which to me was huge. That's what was so amazing about Outback was the culture and how you really can put people first and be very successful. And so Ruffin and I aligned culturally. And then he asked me if I wanted to come on board and run his business for him. He was the owner of Ruffino's, very passionate about people, very passionate about the industry, but not so involved in the business side of it.
Right.
He was the marking the face, the made sure everyone feel like they were the most important guest, loved this industry. And so I joined him, and it was I don't want to say it was a leap of faith, but it was a leap of faith. It was something new for me. The man that officially interviewed me, he was looking for a controller, and I said, look, I'm not a controller. I'm an operations girl at heart.
Right.
I like to throw my feet in the fire and go. I can handle all the bookwork and I can handle all the controls. I love the numbers, but really it's the operations. And Ruffin and I it just clicked. And as my dad said to me one day, you worked your entire professional career to get right where you are at Ruffino's. It's kind of like the perfect job.
Mm-hmm. And with all the years of experience you've had working as operations in the restaurant industry, what was it initially that drew you being part of the LRA, starting out as a Baton Rouge chapter board and then coming in on as the state board? So I have known about the LRA literally my entire life, with my dad, and then with Outback Steakhouse. Outback and Bruce Attinger were very involved in the LRA, and I was kind of attached to Bruce at the hip, so I was very aware. Mm-hmm. And then Ruffin was real involved with the LRA, and so was his partner. And so when I stepped into Ruffino's, Ruffin asked me if I would get involved and kind of take his place. And excuse me, so I did. Little did I know, I knew what the LRA was about. Right.
And I understood the importance of the LRA. I didn't understand, or I wasn't aware of the camaraderie and the, like this Baton Rouge chapter, they are so special and they're my people. And if I'm not with them, I feel a little lost, if that makes sense. Like, we love being together, but I think the hospitality industry is probably the only industry that we love our competition.
Right.
And we want our competition to be successful. We want to be successful, and we all support each other. And so it's not only does the LRA provide education and training and opportunities to grow personally and the advocacy and all that, but the networking with industry leaders and the sharing of ideas and the support is bar none.
And how long has it been? How many years have you been part of the LRA at this point now?
At this point, I'm maybe 5 years with the LRA. Baton Rouge chapter, and I'm going into my 3rd year on the state board.
DirecTV for Business National Accounts provides your customers the ultimate entertainment experience and the very best content. And becoming a national accounts client gives you the ultimate partner in curating that experience to your business's unique needs and brand standards across all locations nationwide. From exclusive live sports to real-time news and weather, premium content and consistent performance are just the beginning. With the largest support footprint in the industry, DirecTV for Business National Accounts provides a consultative experience like no other. Clients enjoy a relationship defined by white glove service with dedicated account and program managers to assist you every step of the way. From custom content recommendations that will keep your customers coming back to simplified and consolidated billing solutions, DirecTV for Business National Accounts provides proactive and responsive support, partnering with you to create a best-in-class experience for you and your customers. When you become a DirecTV for Business National Accounts client, you'll experience how ultimate entertainment and the power of strategic partnership empower you to create an unparalleled customer experience.
This is Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser. Satisfy your cravings with world-famous Louisiana seafood. All the flavors you love, prepared by our world-famous chefs, and fresh from our bountiful waters to your plate. So head over to your local favorite restaurant and be sure to ask for authentic Louisiana seafood. Brought to you by the Louisiana Restaurant Association and Louisiana Seafood Board. A perfect pair.
Not just anybody can make the perfect Sazerac. And not just anybody can offer Louisiana's hospitality industry the perfect workers' comp coverage. The Louisiana Restaurant Association's SIF team knows what hospitality businesses need. We truly care about your team's safety and your success. Everybody who's anybody goes with LRA Workers' Comp. Ask around. In this business, word of mouth is everything.
What has been some of your favorite moments and experiences and memories with the time you've had with the LRA? Because you were talking about camaraderie and getting together.
First of all, on the local Baton Rouge area, we're all a bunch of doers. So our committees for like Oktoberfest and the golf tournament, those are high energy. It's like getting a big B12 shot, you know, like we get together, we feed off each other, and we're creating these amazing events that are raising money for the appropriate avenues with the LRA, and they're just growing. And I really think it's because of the passion of the people and us, how we all just kind of work together. We've also done some really interesting things where new members, we've been reaching out, the board members have been reaching out to those new members and trying to reel them in and really show them the camaraderie side of it, because I think that's what makes the LRA really unique. From a state board perspective, when I did my interview for the state board, someone asked me about the advocacy, and I just said, listen, I'm not a political person. I really don't I understand the importance of it, but I really don't understand how it works.
Right.
Well, somehow I've gotten myself very involved in the advocacy side, which has been a lot of fun, and just really a growth to learn a lot and to see different things. Going to DC to the public affairs conference, everybody should do that at least once. It's very eye-opening, and you don't realize, one, we don't realize in Louisiana what a connection we have to all our legislatures, which I think it's unique to us. I don't think other states have what we have. But that Megan Klock in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, running a restaurant, absolutely has a voice with them. There's power to that, and I had no clue. I just thought, here I am in Baton Rouge, doing my thing.
Right.
And then I'll tell you, this ProStart, I love this ProStart program, and these kids are phenomenal. The passion that they have. I think we're nurturing many people that'll be in the industry, but I also think those that are just doing this ProStart program for a pit stop, we are teaching them great life lessons as far as time management, personal appearance, communication, handling pressure, really getting themselves out there. And we've done some things with ProStart in Baton Rouge, and I was able to be part of the ProStart competition this year for the first time. I helped a team out in New Orleans, but that's a special program that's pretty phenomenal.
What was it that drew you into leading the effort for that in French Settlement to
actually
start that?
Scott Rickey, it was kind of his baby, and Scott's with Dragos, and Dragos was relocating their business in Baton Rouge. And so Scott came to me and said, hey, I want to propose something to you, and let me know if you're in for it. Well, it's just perfect for someone. My passion has always been training and development. My passion has always been people and making that emotional connection with someone. And so it just kind of fit with me culturally. And then Rufino's isn't open for lunch. So it was a perfect opportunity to literally let this school take over the restaurant for a day. Now, French Settlement was chosen because of who their teacher was and who their program is. She was a ProStart student herself.
Oh, wow.
And, yeah. And then Scott had a connection with French Settlement also. It would be fantastic to do it with other schools, but it was real life for them, and they did an amazing job. They did better. They did better than some seasoned employees in restaurants. Of course, they're sponges. They want to soak up everything. They want the interaction. They want the direction. And we had our Baton Rouge chapter. Scott and I headed up the program. But when I tell you our board members came out of the woodworks to support, they had so many trainers, so to speak, with all of us in there. JP No with our moms, he came in with his camera and he interviewed all the kids and he did all these. It was just so cool. We had wine reps that were Chelsea Ransom, who's with, she's a wine rep. She came in and not only did everybody support it from a dining standpoint, but we had about 12 board members that were actively working with these kids side by side or just hanging out with them, making sure they had a good time. It was so cool.
Was it rewarding to see how much people were supporting the effort to start this ProStar Infant Settlement? It must have been very rewarding. Rewarding,
yeah. I mean, I have chill bumps sitting here talking to you about it because it was so much. We learned a lot. Like if we do this again, that we had lots of opportunities, but we knew that going into it that we were going to learn a lot. But the reward is unmeasurable. It was phenomenal. It just really was.
What is it that you think draws these juniors and seniors in school to take a stab at like seeing what the restaurant industry is like when it comes to serving or the management side of the ProStar? What is it, that thing you think that just draws them in, that makes them interested in doing this program?
Well, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to speak personally. I don't know. I hope this is okay, but I think we have a lot of professional people out there that say the restaurant industry or the hospitality industry isn't a good industry to get involved in because people don't make a lot of money, like educators and all that. Right. Where we have a lot of kids that are either in our communities that are either struggling or don't have direction on where they want to go, or like my son's basketball coach kept saying, if someone could be taught how to cook, they don't have to go to college. They could go in a different direction, kind of like a trade school. And so I really think this program is attracting all those people, the ones that need it, the ones that want it, the ones that are a little confused about what to do and they're just trying to try something out to see if it feeds a passion inside of them, and it is. And again, I think this hospitality industry is a people development business disguised as a restaurant, a hotel, a bar, or whatever. And so we are impacting these kids, whether it's long-term in this industry or short-term on you releasing them into the world to do whatever they're going to do. What's really cool is our chef, Patrick, at Rufino's, when the Dutchtown crew went to the national ProStar competition, we went and sat with them. And I kept telling Patrick, I know this is taking time out of your day, but I want you to come. This is going to be great. You're going to love it. Well, we left that school working with those kids, and we were in separate cars. And literally 5 minutes down the road, he called me and said, that was the most rewarding, fulfilling thing I've ever done. How can I be more involved? They listened. They were engaged. They were curious. They asked about education. I mean, everything. These are bright kids that are joining this ProStar program, and it's so cool. It really is.
Now, recently, I don't know how recently, but you've recently began being involved with the National Restaurant Association as a hill runner. Tell me a bit about that and what that's like.
Well, I don't know. I'm kidding. It's new. It's very, very new to me. I mean, I just started. Again, here's this advocacy piece, right? That I said I didn't know much about, and I'm jumping in and I'm going to learn. I am so across the country. They are getting, I guess, board members or members of each restaurant association partnered up with a legislature. I happen to be partnered up with Clay Higgins out of Lafayette. I've met him a few times going to the public affairs conference. I have not met with him yet as a hill runner because I just started this. I had my orientation last month. I've already been on 2 conference calls with all the other hill runners around the country. It's really cool. Like I said, I really don't know exactly what I'm doing yet, but the best way for me to describe it is I am establishing a partnership with Higgins and his team to discuss openly the concerns or the issues or the things we love, this restaurant, the association loves that we're promoting or discussing, those tough conversations about this industry. And so this is gonna be cool. It's gonna be exciting. I can't wait to watch this unfold and develop. Over the summer, when they were in August, apparently all the legislature's kind of off and home, and we were supposed to go meet with them one-on-one. I didn't get to do that because I was just going through my orientation, but I'll make that happen. He's, I grew up in Lafayette. I've got a connection with him, so we'll make that happen. But that's going to be a cool growth opportunity for me and to learn and to see. We'll see how it goes. It's exciting.
What drew you into being a hill runner for the NRA? What was the thing that you were like, oh, this might be an interesting opportunity for me? Or did you realize there was something like a position for this available? Or were you looking into it being like, this is something that I think I would be good at and would help, help the industry as well?
Really, neither.
Okay.
I will tell you recently, so Baton Rouge or St. George, the town of St. George, city of St. George, I shouldn't say town, just recently developed. And that's where we're located in Baton Rouge. And they've been, creating a new city. I can only imagine what goes into that. But one of the things is zoning, and they were changing some of the zoning codes and proposing, and it would have affected our business significantly. And so I went to the zoning committee and spoke up and have gotten pretty close to some of the new councilmen. And with Stan's help and Will's help, we were helping them get these zonings correct. So I think getting involved on that and talking with Stan and Will and Pam and Wendy and Brittany and all of them, Wendy and Pam actually asked me if I would like to be a part of this Hill Runner program. Of course, my response was, I really don't know what this is, but if you all have faith in me to do this, then sure, I'd like to pursue it and see what it is. So, so I'm excited.
Well, hopefully in the future, you'll be able to tell us more about.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll come back and revisit that topic. No.
Well, we don't. We're almost at the time that we are. Is there any last things you want to say? Anything you're looking forward to the future? Any goals you're trying to build up and obtain in the near future?
You mean from a Rufino standpoint, or just in general?
In general, with the LRA, with Rufino's.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this. As far as the LRA goes, I think this organization celebrates the heart and soul of our industry. And I believe especially small business, but every restaurant, every bar, I don't know where people who aren't part of this organization get their information, because I hold dearly the LRA and the information they provide us, whether it's law changing, education for employees, whatever. This LRA company organization connects us as a family, as restaurant owners, chefs, servers, suppliers, you name it. We all share the same mission. And the LRA brings people together around food and culture and hospitality. So it's more than just association, it's a community. And the bigger that community grows, the bigger the impact we have. And I love that the LRA fights for us, but I also love that we fight for ourselves, and we're protecting each other. We give each other a voice, share ideas. And I just encourage everybody to go out and find another restaurateur that is not part of the LRA and bring them in and invite them in, because we have a lot of work to do, and it's just phenomenal. I can't speak highly enough about it. So,
well, thank you very much, Megan, for helping help increase our membership with, I think, a really passionate speech about the LRA. And I think you're correct. It is a lot about family and community, and kind of interesting way, since there's so many restaurants in Louisiana, and they bring so many different types of food and their own culture into it. So I think it's really phenomenal. And
we only get out of something what we put into it, and that's why I said I think all of us as LRA members have a responsibility to these other businesses to go invite them to come just see what it's about and encourage them to get involved. Because once we get them in, we're having fun. Who doesn't want to be a part of something that's fun, right?
Right.
We're having fun, and we're learning, and we're growing, and it's just a phenomenal network.
Well, thank you so much, Megan, and thank you so much for taking time to do this with me. I very much appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you, Clinton. I appreciate it.
Thank you for listening to the Louisiana Restaurant Association's We Live to Eat podcast. Please join us for future podcasts where we'll discuss restaurants, food, and culture in the state where we live to eat. Until then, bon appetit.